Hey y'all, so in today's video I'm going to be making a mini flag coin holder with scrap wood. I have a big piece here which is going to be for the small stripes and unions, all my long stripes here, and then this board is going to be the backing for the coin holder itself. So I started by taking my scrap wood and setting it on my table saw, adjusting it to 5/8 of an inch and ripping 7 strips for my short stripes. Once I have all 7 of those, it's time to rip the large stripes, and we're going to need 6 of those. So I keep the table saw at the same 5/8 inch. Once I have all the stripes ready, I take them over to the miter saw and I cut these short stripes at 10 inches. Because of all the different sizes of scrap wood that I used, I ended up ripping them on the table saw first and then brought them over. And I'm using the method of putting the initially cut piece on top of the new piece and then using that as my guide to cut the other individuals into the same size as the original piece. The 6 long stripes are going to be cut at 17 inches, and they're going to be the ones that are below the union. Now that all the stripes are ready, I line them all up in preparation to get the cut for my union. I set up all my stripes, and then I use a clamp to add a little pressure to the stripes so that the union is in accurate size, and then I just mark the top and bottom of the union board so that I know the exact width and length that it should be. I'll then go ahead and take it over to the miter and cut it down to size. This one ended up being 7 inch by 4.5 inches. I'm not going with the standard 9 inch by 18 inch flag so that it sits evenly on the backboard that I made, which is why it's 7 inch by 4.5 inch. For this mini flag in particular, I'm going to make it more of a roughed or tattered flag style. So instead of doing a clean round over on the edges, I'm actually using the router bit and going in and out of the bit itself to give it a tattered look. I finished off the rest of the stripes doing the same process, again trying not to make it an exact rhythm with how I want them to be cut out, because I think the more uneven and unmatched the stripes are, the better it's going to look. Once the routing's done, I take all the stripes in the union over to the table and use 320 grit sandpaper just to knock off any broken pieces or any points that may protrude a little too far from the cuts. So this flag is going to be the standard red, white, and blue, except I'm going to use the torch to go ahead and give each stripe a light burn, light to medium burn, to help bring out the wood grain so it shows a little bit more through the stain that I'm going to use. Right here, I'm just picking out what stripes might look best with the red versus the white colors. I usually do the darker stain on the stripes that has more imperfections in it as compared to the white. For the white stripes, I'm going to be using the Minwax white base tint. It's kind of translucent if you use a light coat of it, but you can apply it a little bit thicker and then just make sure to come back in about 5 or 10 minutes to wipe it off. But you'll have a nice clean white stripe. For the red stripes, my go-to stain is the Minwax Barn Red. It comes out a nice, crisp, clean red, and when you have the burn of the stripes underneath, it comes out really nice. And for the Union, I'm using the Minwax Navy color. For the stars, I'm using a 60-degree V-bit on my CNC, and I put painter's tape over top of the Union because I plan to spray paint them. And I'm using the carbide motion system to run the CNC. So normally I would have in the videos how I would glue up the flags, and this is a full glue up, so each stripe is glued to each other, but I forgot to record that part, so it is finished, and I ended up using the polyacrylic clear satin to finish off the flag, and I did 2 coats of that. Now that the flag is done, it's time to get the backboard ready for the coin holders. Alright, so while that flag's gluing up, I decided to get the backboard ready. This flag is going to be sitting on a frame itself. The flag here is 8.5 by 17, so I have that marked out, and then even sides around with 3.5 width here, 3.5 here to the border, and then 3.25 here, and 3.25 here to the border. So the flag itself is probably going to sit right around 3/4 of an inch off here. So what I'm going to do is make a border that extends out that 3/4 of an inch so that it's flush with the flag, and then the coin, it's going to be a coin holder, so along these areas here I'm going to put another 3/4 inch board that the coins are going to sit on all the way around. That way everything's flush when you look at it flat. Once I know what size boards I need for the border, I went back to the scrap pile to choose a couple sizes that were pretty long, so I didn't have an issue making the borders. Each piece is going to be 3/4 of an inch thick, and it's all pine, just like the flag. So to measure for the borders, I just put the sides on first, making sure I mark where I'm going to be making my cuts, and they're going to line up right with the backboard. And then for the tops and bottoms, add both the side pieces and then the longer pieces for the wood so that I know my cut is approximately 1.5 inches more than what the backboard is measuring. For the border, to adjust for the extra 3/4 of an inch that I wanted, I ended up ripping all the border boards down to 1.5 inches. After the test fit, it was time to put them all together. I started by gluing both the side pieces on using Type Bond 2 wood glue, and then I went back in with the 16 gauge brad nailer and used 1.25 inch nails to secure it all together. For the coin holder sections themselves, I made them 5/8 inch thick and they're 3/4 of an inch wide to match up with the border. Alright, so I got all the braces installed, or the shelving for the coins. It's cool because you could set one here too, sit it right on the frame. But then I have these bars here for the raised ones. These are each 2 1/4 from here and 2 1/4 from here to give it equal space for the coins to sit. So I used the mid-wax color changing wood filler on all the nail holes and any imperfections that I saw on the wood. I'm just waiting for it to dry now. And you'll notice I went in through the front with the nails instead of the back. And the reason for that is I'm going to be painting it. It's going to be a nice flat black color. So I'm not worried about the nails showing themselves because it's going to be painted over. If I was standing it, I would come in through the back with the nails, or just use glue because there's not going to be too much weight on it, and then just put some pressure on it so the glue could dry. But you can do it either which way depending on what your finish is going to be like. So now I'm just going to wait a couple hours, wait for that to dry, and then give it all a good sanding. So the paint's all dried, it came out great. As you can see, I didn't really go too heavy in here because I haven't decided how I want to put the flag on. I'm thinking of gluing it on so it stays there forever, or I'll just figure out a nice bracket piece that you'd be able to take it on and off. Maybe switch it out if you want to do a variety, either thin blue line or regular. So, but other than that, the paint came out awesome, and I'm going to be getting a clear coat of satin polyacrylic on it next. So let's go. All right, so both the flag and the frame have their finish coats on. I did the polyacrylic, satin polyacrylic with it. I did 2 coats on the flag to give it a little more sheen and stand out a little bit, and the box itself only has 1 coat all around. So now we're getting ready to finish it up. To make sure the glue has a good bond, I sanded off the poly in the area that the flag is going to go, and I just used 120 grit sandpaper to do that. Right here, I'm just checking to make sure that the flag is square all the way around with the coin holder pieces. And then I push down and make sure that there's plenty of weight going down. So I just used, I don't know, I think it was 14 pounds of weight to put on the flag so the glue adheres. And I let it sit for a couple of hours. And now it's time to show the finished product. This was a little bit challenging of a project, but it was still easy enough to where you can use a bunch of scrap wood to make it happen. It came out super clean. It can hold a ton of coins for any of those coin aficionados, and it's also a good like retirement gift or something like that. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me, and if you want to see more like it in the future, hit subscribe.